This video is the second video of a series of 3 videos that explain how the following principles of the undefeated Japanese swordsman and philosopher, Miyamoto Musashi, can help us live practically. Let us start. Number 1. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Separation is an inseparable part of life. Aging separates us from the beauty and strength of our youth. Noise separates us from quietness. Conflicts separate us from peace. Traveling separates us from our loved ones physically. And death separates us from our loved ones ultimately. However, they all happen independent of our wishes and ideals. We cannot truly control anything that life requires to happen. Therefore, since we cannot stop what life requires to happen, there is no need to be saddened by any separation. After all, nothing is permanent and all our sufferings will also come to their end. Number 2. Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others. Resentment and complaint never ultimately change anything. In fact, they only cause us to feel unpleasant feelings such as anger, anxiety and sorrow. However, even if resentment and complaint never ultimately change anything, most of us still complain about things and resent others, which only cause us to suffer. And the reasons why we still complain about things and resent others are because others do not always act and speak according to our wishes and things do not always happen the way we want them to happen. We cannot simply just truly control what others do and say, and life is ultimately uncontrollable in itself. With this said, the only ones that we can truly control are ourselves. Therefore, we should remind ourselves that it is only ourselves that we can truly control. Only when we accept that things do not always happen as we wish can we truly live efficaciously. Number 3. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. Feelings are an intrinsic part of being human. And it is perfectly natural to feel love and lust. We are all here now because of such feelings. However, having them as our guide can lead to a lot of disastrous consequences. For example, if a father of a family feels that he wants to engage in a sexual intercourse with a woman other than his wife and he lets his desire guide his actions, it can cause the precious relationship of his family to break and his children to inevitably suffer. Therefore, we should not allow ourselves to be guided by the feeling of lust or love. Number 4. In all things have no preferences. Having preferences is not unhealthy or destructive. Certainly, there are preferences that are great to have. For example, exercising rigorously to stay healthy instead of drinking beer to lose your mind is a good preference to have. However, having preferences can also lead to unpleasant consequences when done mindlessly. For example, if you are to be interviewed in 2 days but you still choose to go to a party because you prefer the company of your friends to learning more about the job that you are applying for and preparing for it, you will likely fail the job interview. Therefore, while having preferences is not necessarily unhealthy or destructive, we should be mindful of our preferences. Number 5. Be indifferent to where you live. Let us face it. There are some or many things that we do not like about where we live. It could be that you do not like some of your neighbors, the government of your country, or the mannerisms of some of your classmates or co-workers. However, we should realize that every one of us has flaws and we cannot completely please everyone. And if we only keep moving somewhere else instead of accepting what we have and where we live, we will also just be dealing with imperfect people and living in an imperfect place, and we will just also be disappointed and suffering anyway. Therefore, we should accept things as they are, deal with each and every moment accordingly and be indifferent to where we live. Number 6. Do not pursue the taste of good food. The taste of good food is not really a bad thing to pursue. In fact, if we are to choose between a healthy food that tastes so good and a healthy food that tastes so bad, we will probably choose the one that tastes so good. However, pursuing the taste of good food alone can lead to disastrous consequences. For example, there are kinds of food that really taste so good but only cause us health problems, and there are kinds of food that may not taste as good as we would want them to but are healthy for our bodies and minds. Therefore, we should be mindful of what we consume and not pursue the taste of good food for the sake of good taste alone. Number 7. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. In a world dominated by the media that advertise unnecessary products and promote mindless consumerism, we usually think that having more means being wealthy. However, if we think about it carefully, Having more possessions means having more things to think about, which causes anxiety, fear and restlessness. We need all sorts of securities to keep ourselves safe from thieves, kidnappers and burglars. We need to spend more time to work just to buy more things that we do not truly need. And we need to produce more and more products to satisfy our mindless ways of consuming goods, which only destroys our planet. Therefore, we need to let go of everything that we no longer need if we want to live in a more beautiful and peaceful world. Thank you. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell and hit the like button. Peace.